Hello and welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom from our studios here at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano in Accra. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Coming up, President John Mahama orders the payment of 1 billion cedis owed contractors since the year 2017.
And I'm a finance minister say almost certificates ano a bit 2 million, a bit 5 million, a bit 10 million, a bit 1 million. Obimpo there 500,000 cedis. Intimation on board money no non-pay 1 billion cedis be non from trio.
Government to provide support for local producing companies as part of the 24-hour economy policy.
As ministry responsible for agribusiness, we are not only interested in value addition, we are also interested in the provision of raw materials at the right quality and right quantity at the right time.
Former Education Minister describes change of names of some public universities as petty.
Yeah, yes, you're changing to university. Yesterday, answer what you say, so kind of me, Yakoka and performing percent, you can't Ghana history from saying, obviously, starting from 79. The International Act.
IGP Special Task Force clamps down on criminal activities in the northern regional capital of Tamale.
Our effort is not just going in vain. At the end of the day, having arrested these people, the police have been able to process them with the available evidence and put before court. And then some of them are in custody and others have been jailed. So I think in the national, everything is perfect and that we'll continue to put up our best until we are done with whatever we are doing.
We are grateful that you join us for the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. We start off with road infrastructure and issues having to do with contractors, and President John Dramani Mahama has directed that 1 billion Ghana cedis be paid to contractors who have been owed by the state since 2017 before the end of the Christmas season. He announced the directive during a sword-cutting ceremony for the Sunyani Atronie Achirensua road project in the Bono region on Sunday. There's more in this report.
The president was in the Bono region to cut sword for the construction of major roads under the Big Push program. The Domahene, who acknowledged that some works have already started, called for the strict supervision of the road project, warning against shoddy work delivered to them.
Yewra kwanna dodoɔ no akodi asante yewra so free man kranso na wɔkɔ yewra nom kumase a yewra kwanna no ɔno so bebree mensura meka sɛ wɔyɛ bɛyɛ 25 kilometers yewra asɛi ofree abisim na wɔba sunwane ha yɛ a na so owura na na fia pre hene ɛyɛ runabout a ɛkɔ wo yune no yewura na wɔkɔ hɔ a fia pre ayɛ kase paa nti kwan na akyekyere so yewura saa kwan mienu abesim ɔba sunwane na yɛfia pre no so ɔkɔ nana brekum ansuya tre no yewura hɔ na akyekyere so paa na ya ahodem ba na nka watimi ahwɛ eno amaye.
On the stalled National Cathedral project, the Domahene stressed that any individuals found to have defaulted must be prosecuted in accordance with the law.
Ade abede to ma ba ko pa ye corruption. Na ye hu se sa National Cathedral no sika ba ka se ba se no yewura me de nokrani ba ka se me de mentiase yewura attorney general de ba be boy se ketesh asihye bi animu a nokrani kama court na ma frɛ nipa ɔhwɛ so no na ya toto na no so ma kyerɛ de kodie ntia na Ghana fo nyina hu yewura eno de ma bia convince se bibi nim ma ate se bi nim baba hyehyɛ ase me de nim se ne osite na mbom Ghana fo ba ka bibi na se utimi ka yewura sa amana na betu ye ne de nokrani ya ntia ase ya pese bi bamfa no ko gina mbra ano na o ma kyerɛ de kodie ntia se sika dodo no be ye.
The president described the Sunyani-Atrensua Road project as a critical intervention for the Bono region. He also reiterated government's intention to clear long-standing arrears owed to contractors and support the resumption of stalled projects across the country.
Ebi certificates from 2017 and omuye ejuma. Buy. Almost your muntia omuka. Ebi ewu eja sikano eko. Until now, and a contractors association ba me ho. And I'm a finance minister say almost certificates na ano ebi 2 million, ebi 5 million, ebi 10 million, ebi 1 million. Obi import there 500,000 cedis. Enti me say ni nyina no. Non pe be 1 billion cedis bi non fan twa omu nyina ka. Ansana bronya so.
Addressing concerns raised by the Domahene about any attempt to shield defaulters in the stalled National Cathedral project, President Mahama said he will not relent in efforts to ensure accountability.
You can say Auditor General and your forensic audit of the National Cathedral. Enti eno na bema yehumu ye ade ekoso $97 million yedie tu amra kese yese ga Africa ha nyina amra bia nso te se sa amra no enti sa forensic audit no ene be yi nyoma pie na se yi nyoma pie a eno ne be gina so ne aye investigation no na se asotwe ebi wo ho a e wo se de ma obi a ne de amasa nipa no enti nana yembu ye ningo so yeguso ehwem na emrepa no se asotwe bi wo ho a obi a echese we this Ghana sika se na me share bo no ye de sa nipa no ebe kwa kugina aban nim.
So let's stay with this story a little longer and speak to the president of the Chamber of Construction Industry, Emmanuel Cherry. He's joined us via phone. Mr. Cherry, you're welcome to Channel 1 Newsroom.
Thank you, my brother Alaji. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It sounds like Christmas has come very early for you. Contractors, money going to be paid you.
To God be the glory. It's a good news to hear. However, until the money hit the accounts, we are still in expectation.
You sound like doubting Thomas. That's not nice, considering that this is the first gentleman who oversees the national purse, who says he has instructed that you should be paid. I mean, do you not trust his words?
Once bitten, twice shy. Let's be sincere to ourselves. You granted an interview with me somewhere July when the president came out to promise the entire world that he's going to pay contractors before the end of July. What has come out of that as we speak now? So therefore, as I said, until money hit the account of contractors, we are still wishing.
I don't remember the July one, but he who feels it knows it best, so I would not begrudge you for remembering the exact details. You are saying that in the past you made this promise, never earn it, and no effort was made for it to be earned?
That's where we are today, and then thankfully, he has come out to also make another promise that we are hopeful. However, I believe most of the bottlenecks, which bedevil set promises that he made in the past, larger part of it has been taken out. Those bottlenecks has been taken out. So I believe the road is clear now for actions to be taken in terms of payment. So this time around, I believe what he has said will definitely come to pass because the Road Trust Fund board has been inaugurated and they are fully in action as we speak today. So therefore, if that happens, they are the statutory body that can disperse money as long as Road Fund so much concern. Coming to the consolidated, a number of payment has gone in there, which is a plus. However, as the president said just yesterday, or just today, yesterday and today, as he visited some of the major road sites, he made it known that he has instructed the Minister for Finance to look for 1 billion Ghana cedis to pay us.
1 billion Ghana cedis out of 8.2 billion of road fund, even though it's money, but it's woefully inadequate. It's not even a quarter, talk less of how do you call it, a three-quarter or a full. So if it happened this way, the question is, who is going to be paid and who is not going to be paid? And if everybody is to be paid, what are the percentage of payment that's going to be made to across board to the contractors whose certificate has been validated? So these are some of the questions we need to be interrogated, because $1 billion, sincerely, it won't fly. It will not get anywhere. So the Christmas is talking about that we're going to celebrate. I don't know how it's going to be like, because road fund alone is owing 8.2 billion Ghana cedis. And then you said they should give us 1 billion out of 8.2. Even though it's a drop in an ocean, but half a loaf, as they say, is better than none. However, to us, it's not going to make our Christmas lively. Secondly, if you go to the entire portfolio, 45 billion plus is in arrears as we speak today. And then 5 billion was released in the past in this payment issue. So therefore, the amount in arrears as we speak today is gargantua. So as we speak now, we contractors, we don't know our left from right in terms of payment, because we don't know what is coming our way. We owe a lot of our, our other parties, the financial sector, the manufacturing sector, and the service sector. We owe a number of people. Now, if this 1 billion out of 8.2 billion is being released, by the time we hit the account, the financial sector will swallow all this money. So the Christmas is talking about, sincerely, I don't see it happening. Unless it performs some magic for us, like at least giving us some 5 billion thereabout out of the 8.2, then we can say yes. If the banks takes their money, something later will remain. We'll pay our manufacturing sector who supply us our materials, and then they pay our workers, that's the artisans, who also have the families dependence on them. If it happens this way, you see a lot of money flowing within the system. Well, about 1 billion, sincerely, my brother, it will not go anywhere.
That's very painful to hear. Now, over the past 8 years, because this debt we are told lingered on since 2017, did the previous administration make any similar payments to you, or at least a promise to pay?
The previous administration, you know, you know our problem, and that is the cry we made in the past. And they seems to pay deaf ears to our cry, and thankfully, God has punished them by taking them out of the raid. So therefore, it's a punishment that they must go and rethink and come back if there's a need in the future. However, as we speak today, the punishment they gave us, that is what is lingering in the books and the current administration has inherited. But the goodwill is trying to show or put on the table is something that must be applauded. However, until we see money in account, it will be a bit difficult for us to be praising the government of the day. Even though he has shown good faith by trying as much as possible to clean the system, to put the system in a good track that must be robust, so that devoid of these, hangings of corruptions and corruption in depth and what have you, all those things is trying to clean the system by making sure that all contractors go to validate their contract and validate their IPCs accordingly. If this happens, it will weed out some of the mediocres within the system and the corrupt practices within the system, and then bring sanity into the construction front, which is a plus that we must applaud the government with. But in doing so, don't forget that we have monies that's supposed to be pay us for us also to pay our creditors. So if that happens, economy will be expanded, will boost, and then you see that the Christmas, our traders, our mothers, our sisters, and the what have you who are selling, who are making noise that they are not buying, is as a result of contractors not being paid. Because a contractor is being paid today, the bank will receive their money, the manufacturing sector will receive their money, the service sector, that's what they call it, the labor front, that's the artisans, the carpenters, the masons, the plumbers, the painters, what have you. All of them will get money. And if those people get money, they go to the nearby market and buy their items. Some of them also go to the mall to do their purchasing and celebrate the Xmas or the festive. But as long as the payment has not been made, money with this circulation is very minimal. And that's a result of what we are experiencing. Go to the market centers today. You see a huge crowd of people trooping to the market centers. But the traders are making noise. They are crying. They are not purchasing. They are not buying. It's window shopping they are doing. The window shopping is coming as a result of contractors not being paid. Mr. President, as been said, we applaud the directive. We pray that you add actions to it to make sure that the 1 billion is increased to 5 billion on the road fund sector, so that at least something substantial will circulate within the economy.
This government has the big push agenda, which is focused on road construction. There are debts there before this government came into office, which debts the president is trying to deal with. Would you say that the non-payment of the debts would affect the government's big push? I.e., as a contractor, would you take up a new job on say, the Sunyani Atronso Road, which he has gone to cut sword on now, when you have not been paid your arrears? Is that something, do you reckon the big push will be affected by these lingering debts?
You see, as contractors, as engineers, consultants, our high calling is for us to render service to Ghana and its infrastructure development. So that is our calling. We are being called to it. Meanwhile, while doing so, you must also not forget that we are not Father Christmas. We are also working to at least earn our living. So therefore, as long as we work and payment has not come, and there is another work that is coming on my way, that proves positive, more credible than the previous one, I'll grab that one, get the money to socket the old ones, making sure that as time goes on, by the time the old one comes and pay, it will come and cover the holes of the new ones. So therefore, it's a strategy. As a business person, you need to do some plus and minus to juxtapose things and put things together, making sure that your plus and minus or what have you, multiplications are intact. Okay. So with the big push, there is so much promise in there, and the promises is so very fertile in a quest that the government is promising that if you worked and raised certificate, and certificate is being authenticated within maximum 30 days, you'll be paid. Not 2 years, not 3 years, not 4 years. So if I should hear something of this nature, I will rush and grab it with 2 hands without any sweat or a shred of doubt.
Very well.
So therefore, with the big push agenda, with the facility and structures they are putting in place, the financial engineering, if it goes that way, I'm telling you, the construction aspect and then the infrastructure aspect of the economy will be a celebrated venture that everybody will see feel with our eyes, because we are ready to work to develop the infrastructure aspect of the country anytime, anywhere.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Emmanuel Cherry there. He's president of the Chamber of Road Construction. This is Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. To some other stories now. Market women and traders in New Bakba in the Central Town District of the Volta region say their livelihoods are under threat as the absence of a good motorable road continues to limit access to a newly constructed market in the community. Despite the construction of a modern market facility by the CTFM Foundation, traders say the poor road network is making it difficult to transport goods, discouraging patronage and undermining the economic benefits the project was intended to bring to the area. Channel 1 News' Volta regional correspondent Desmond Selasiago has more.
The community, with a population of 2,000, has over the years made repeated appeals for a motorable road. However, all proposed road networks linking New Bakba to the Central, South and North Town districts have failed to materialize, despite the area being recognized as a major agricultural hub in the district. Residents say the poor nature of the road continues to hinder economic activities, making it difficult for farmers and traders to transport produce to major commercial centers. This challenge persists even after the construction of a modern market facility by the CTFM Foundation, which was expected to boost trading activities in the area. According to the market women, the lack of a good road has led to increased transportation costs, delays, and frequent losses of perishable goods, discouraging traders from neighboring communities from patronizing the market.
Ta mi dibe na wa chojo le mo di na mi na mo wo Yeah, free.
We have a market here by the support from CTFM Foundation. And the market is very good. On every Wednesday, whenever you come here, you see our market doing well. But the road linking Bakpaniuta to Adidome is very, very bad. The other one linking Bakpaniuta to Sogakope is not good at all. Even the one leading Bakpaniuta to Bakpa Ajani, the main roadside, is not good at all. And so we are calling on the government, any other person who will speak for us, so that our road will be good.
Okada riders in the area also lament that the road becomes extremely dangerous, especially during the rainy season. They say muddy and eroded sections of the road make it risky to transport traders and farm produce to larger towns such as Adidome and Sogakope, sometimes forcing them to suspend operations. They are therefore appealing to authorities to intervene urgently to improve the road and enhance safety for both riders and commuters. The Queen Mother of the New Bakpa traditional area, Mama Apanusi IV, speaking to Channel 1 News, described the poor road network as a long-standing challenge confronting the community. She said the situation has slowed development and called on government to prioritize the construction of the road to improve livelihoods and economic growth in the area.
We are now having a new market here, but the roads leading to the market from Sogakope and Adidome, all the roads leading to the market are in bad condition. So we need the support from the government for the farmers to be able to bring their goods to the market, and also the other bigger markets as Sogakope, Adidome, Mafikumasi. The farmers will be able to send their products to the market.
Market women and traders here at New Bakpa in the central town district of the Volta region are calling on authorities to quickly construct their roads for them to enable them transport their farm produce to the market and also to neighboring communities such as Adidome and Sogakope. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Desmond Selasiago.
And I am Omar Sandamadu, broadcasting from number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesson in Accra. This is Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. Still ahead. Government to provide support for local producing companies as part of the 24-hour economy policy. More on that when we return. Please stay with us.
Hey, Ghana. So you people know Miss Brother once more. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all, kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the grades. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Pearl. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
Rooted in heritage. Shaped by ambition. Defined by style. Inspired by soul. This is Afro Quality, the first multi-country concept store for African brands. Now in Nairobi, Kigali, and Accra.
Unbelievable. Said you have a city and the Amama Kai or baby and home fair. Wow! Hello, Miss World.
Hello, Ajimara.
Now I hear now what to say.
Me who yo, madam for be ho e wakase. Mene ne ye niam adoso.
Me nyana nka me wogana. Nanso me to, me na wiase na mabepie electronic shop bi a kire se. Said you have a city no. Na ohunfo nyini ene shawo mani so say. Me ba. But gold, diamond, jewels, nickels, pearls, blankets, everything. I'm a
And Chimera of international waters. Hey!
Wow! Obwa, onya bochire bia.
Obwa wani breno.
Yankwa na me kocho.
It's a broche nani.
Sister, Electroland Ghana Limited showroom for Krani. Kasi Kumase, Omo when you say Samsung, TCL, Media, and a NASCO product. I don't know when you go through. Omo be able to say Kaswa, Asamai, Makasim, Tamale, Sprinters, Coca-Cola.
Ajumawura. It's me na nka ba chejuma kutu dia so me say ba.
Me private jet no kwa. E be see me na me ba. Let's bygone be bygone. Hey, eniyama mo pese mo yi no wa bia. Munyi yo yebeyi.
Electroland Ghana, home of electronics and affordable luxury.
You're welcome back. Now, the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Agribusiness is promising a government intervention to help local producing companies fit into the 24-hour economy policy. Sector Minister Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejari says such local companies have critical roles to play to make the 24-hour economy policy a success. She was speaking after visiting Eku Juice factory in the central region. Our correspondent there is Akwesiado.
The Ekumfi Juice factory, established in the central region under the One District, One Factory policy of the previous administration, was designed to produce 10 tons of fruits per hour. But the company is currently processing 25% out of the estimated 100,000 fruits per hour. At this rate, the company is unable to meet its local and international demand. However, there has been no impact on the status of employees. Speaking to Channel 1 News, Director in charge of operations at the factory, Frederick Kobnakwa, says the lack of adequate raw materials is hampering the company's estimated production capacity.
We have the capacity. Like we saw today, we have a 10-ton an hour fruit processor. We have the man, the labor, we have everything. Now the shortfall or the missing link there is the number of fruits that we require here. For now, we as a company are working because we don't have raw materials to the point that we need it. We're working around somewhere around 20-25% of our capacity. We're discussing running a 24-hour system, and that is why the minister was here to understand how they can support us to run that 24-hour system. And that 24-hour system is what will take us to our full capacity, so we can meet the demand in Ghana and also the external markets that we have touched. We are full on Walmart, but as we speak, unfortunately, you go to walmart.com and it says Ekumfi Juice is out of stock.
The Minister of Trade and Agribusiness, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejari, who paid a working visit to the factory's main production unit at Ekumfi Isem, and its citrus juice production plant, says government will give priority to local production companies like Eku Juice Factory. Impressed by the company's efforts so far, the minister pledged governmental support to enhance its operations. She said government intends to push factories such as Eku Juice to upscale their operations as part of the 24-hour economy policy.
It is obvious that they have capacity to do 24-hour economy, which is a new thing on the block, but obviously they are not doing it. One of their major issues include raw materials, which we have to look for ways of making sure that they have enough raw materials to run 24 hours. As ministry responsible for agribusiness, we are not only interested in value addition, we are also interested in the provision of raw materials at the right quality and right quantity at the right time to feed the industry. Fortunately, they are even certified to sell on the United States market, Walmart to be precise. But it's obvious that because of lack of raw materials mainly, they've not been able to stock. We can help with people who are also interested in, let's say, pineapple cultivation in large quantities just to feed the industry. And so from here, we'll have the discussion and then take steps. We know what we do to get the land, to get people to invest in that space.
The minister has announced that government intends to support factories of this nature just so they can be able to upscale their productions. For the Channel One Newsroom, I am Akwesi Yado, Central Region.
Now, the Inspector General Police IGP Special Operations Team has carried out another major swoop in parts of Tamale, including the Central Business District, as part of efforts to clamp down on criminals involved in the sale and use of opioids and other illicit drugs. The operation forms part of a series of targeted interventions in the region following growing concerns over high levels of drug abuse in the northern region. Our Northern Bureau Chief is Shawana Yusuf, and she has more in this report.
The IGP Special Operation Team visited Gurugu, the Tamale bus stop, and several other locations where intelligence reports indicated suspicious activities. The team has also extended similar operations to Yendi, Tolong, and Savulugu as part of a broader strategy to flush out illegal drug dealers and users across the region. Speaking to the media, the leader of the IGP Special Operation Team, ASP Abdul Bawa Jalil, said drug use and trafficking have reduced significantly since the team's deployment to the northern region.
Things are completely down now because since we came, we have been able to arrest series of people, and then majority of them have been sent to court, and then some are currently in remand, others have been sentenced. I think the judicial system is also helping with regards to these operations, and then the IGP is very grateful for that, and we are also grateful that our effort is not just going in vain. Now, at the end of the day, having arrested these people, the police have been able to process them with the available evidence and put before court, and then some of them are in custody, and others have been jailed. So I think in the nutshell, everything is perfect, and then we'll continue to put up our best until we are done with whatever we are doing.
According to ASP Bawa Jalil, the operation is being carried out in the interest of peace and security in the northern region, and the team remains determined to arrest all individuals involved in the illegal drug trade.
Initially, the criminal network, if you are trying to fight them, you cannot get it easy. Definitely, they will also come out with all manner of tricks. People will come out to use politics, people will come out to use, let me say, chieftaincy issues. But as far as this fight is concerned, it's not about any one individual, it's about the group of the goodness of the people of the North. So we have been able to neutralize everything, and then the duties are going on professionally without any kind of intimidation and harassment. But we have intelligence, and we'll fish out all those who are behind this criminal network, and then everything will be okay.
He further appealed to parents and guardians to take greater responsibility for their children and ensure they desist from drug abuse, warning that offenders will face the full rigors of the law.
So we are just cautioning the general public, everybody, every parent must be responsible. And then we have to also talk to our children. People must take responsibility of their children. And at the end of the day, every youth that is involved, we'll tell them to desist from the consumption of the tramadol, or those who are into the sale should also desist from the sale. If not, we'll identify like we have been able to get these people. We'll continue to feed them out in as far as our intelligence network is working.
Now, the hustling, confusion, and occasional fights that accompany the search for transportation home from city centers during the Christmas festivities have once again become a major concern in many parts of the Ashanti region. Across several loading stations, passengers are seen competing for limited vehicles, with long queues quickly breaking down into disorder as drivers rush to maximize profits during the peak travel period. Ashanti regional correspondent Bright Yeboah has been assessing the situation.
Passengers shouting and pushing each other are the daily struggle of many in an attempt to secure seats on commercial vehicles. The situation is worsened by the limited number of buses available to meet the surge in demand during the festive season.
When it gets to the festive season, you know that the demand for the transport cars are very high. So because we don't have enough of those vehicles in the system, it becomes very difficult. As you can see, you have to join a very long queue before you can get the chance to enter into this public transport.
Some drivers and transport operators are reportedly taking advantage of the situation by doubling and in some cases tripling transport fares, leaving passengers with little choice but to pay inflated prices or remain stranded.
And about 10 cities, the bedroom 5, 6, no crowd, 15 and 20. Ubechia, when Chia won't call Ubeka.
So when you can't be crass or do crap on Joe normal fare, no rather Obejo twice the price and not thrice the price of that particular stretch. The Quania, if you win your car crash or do crap, a son say, or whom is any panded dorsal. Now, a coba say. Charge be over charge you will be over for canity. So your pet and over Joe. As answer, over could do a big crowd over Sika. We propose is our day back in and out. Let's just say, Uncle, here know what Tia Abrosa. Yes, answer, it be a also to her. Let's just say, as we see from now on 90.
Even though city authorities have intensified enforcement and arrested several drivers for charging overpriced fares, the practice continues to persist. Many commuters say the sanctions have done little to deter offenders, as some drivers still take advantage of the festive rush to demand inflated fares, leaving passengers with few alternatives.
But in the course of some more chrono, we are catching us at 10 cities. So even so, by charge a brow would not hold loading a Bianca police in here now, any security agency back at your own place or bet charge Sadian. It is almost a many pebby about the giant as passengers as we are. No more so for bus in the course of or charge unapproved fee now. Nanka womono and energy.
Hotspots include the Kronum Afrancho Bomo stretch, Tafo Mamponting, Tek Ejoso, Santase Ahinama Kokobeng, Abrepo Oshim Amanfrum, and the airport runabout Kenyasi routes. Long queues and heavy congestion leave many commuters stranded for hours. Passengers are appealing to city authorities to deploy Ayalolo buses to strategic points in the city to help ease the pressure during the festive season.
Yes, Rabbi. So, I don't want for buses, maybe make keep Masia.
If the government can support us, it will go along with, because some of these public transport vehicles, they intentionally hide so that when it gets late in the evening, they increase their fare prices. So I think that if they have someone to compete with, like the government STCs, I think it will help, because I realized that in Accra when they were doing it, most of the truckers, they didn't get passengers, so now they were reducing their prices. So if that happens, they'll come up from where they're hiding, and we will all have our peace of mind.
The scramble for transport across the region continues to test the patience of commuters, and calls for urgent intervention grow louder. For Channel 1 News, I am Bright Yeboah.
You're watching Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. Still ahead, former Education Minister describes change of names of some public universities as petty. We have that and more coming up. Please stay with us.
Rooted in heritage. Shaped by ambition. Defined by style. Inspired by soul. This is Afro Quality, the first multi-country concept store for African brands. Now in Nairobi, Kigali, and Accra.
Hey, Ghana. So you people know Miss Brother once more. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the grades. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
Remember when I turned 50, I did this show, it was called KSM 50. That was KSM 50. Now, the favorite show I did since KSM 50 was called The Secret of GA Girls.
Very soon you'll be in a car and you are going, yes, no for.
I'm 69. But even at 69, I've come up with a new brilliant show. Your friend, Old Age is a Rascal. And it's coming to you live from the Cactus Creek. And it's happening on the 25th, 26th, and the 27th of December. Old Age is a Rascal. You can't miss this. It starts with a lunch buffet. Starts at 1, and then about 4:30, we take a break and you come and see the special. Old Age is a Rascal. And the number to call is 055 039 5007.
You're welcome back. Now, former Education Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh has waded into the ongoing public discourse surrounding the change of the names of some public universities, describing the decision as petty. He insisted that individuals spearheading the move are only trying to rewrite Ghana's history to suit personal interests. Channel 1 News' bureau chief for the Middle Belt is Hafiz Tijani, and he has this story for us.
Parliament has approved a new legislation amending the names of some public universities in Ghana with a focus on strengthening institutional identity and enhance global competitiveness. Under the new legislation, C.K. Tedam University of Technology and Applied Sciences will now be known as the University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Navrongo. Similarly, the Simon Diandog Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies will now be known as the University of Business and Integrated Development Studies, while, in addition, Akentin Appiah-Menka University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development has been renamed the University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development, Kumasi. Speaking on the matter, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh cited the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and questioned why its name has not been changed, while other public universities named after prominent individuals are having their names altered. He called on intellectuals to speak out on the issue.
You can't Ghana history from saying, obviously starting from 79. The intellectuals are very, very quiet. So what Ghana ha, the Makoni Minister of Education, William Jamaica, who was free in the ha. The first name Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology was by Act 80. Act 80, Kwame Nkrumah CPP are buying. And I did take to Kwame Nkrumah. Because before Kwame Nkrumah, tech had already been established at Kwame Nkrumah College of Technology. Maybe why? Now, said they took Kwame Nkrumah na aye. And then we'll be our home day to say Benima, to say Afro-Bidi. Yet, if I university, and then we'll be to say Albert Say. The first person who had the Sika, starting Aboriginal Rights Protection Society. Yet, Anano. And then to Park Grant, who was not a politician, who saw that because of taxation, the Abrafolo system and formed United Gold Coast Convention. And then to interview for University.
He was speaking at the 8th Opimso lecture organized by the Ashanti Professionals Club in Kumasi, which was also used to advocate for the adoption of a common language of instruction in Ghanaian schools.
Asante Professionals Club, we see a big void in our country educational system. I mean, let me refer you to some schools I visited, still having no vernacular written boldly at the school. So as you enter, there is that inscription telling you not to speak Chi or your dialect. And I find this strange. Look, there's so much people learn, but they don't understand because of language. And that is why sometimes we bomb, excuse my word, we bomb when we write the WASI exams, we write the BEC exams, and we think we must begin to learn what has worked well for others. China speaks Mandarin and others, and they are very comfortable. A class 2 to JSS can think and produce something. What do? We just imbibe English and just pour it off, and that's the end of it.
Former First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei Usu, however, proposed the use of Akan language in everyday interactions in the Ashanti region, despite the challenges associated with adopting it as the sole language of instruction in schools.
We Asantes must prioritize the use of our language in our everyday interactions with everybody. Use that to develop our businesses. Use that to train in handiwork. It should not be intimidated by any foreign language. If there's anything to be learned about fixing a vehicle, the training should be done in Chi.
The Ashanti Professional Club is calling on the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, to do more to promote the adoption of a single language for use in schools.
Now, the ambition of many Ghanaians to own a home before they die may remain unrealized due to several factors, including low incomes and the lack of affordable housing options. As the country's housing deficit rises to nearly 2 million units, Channel One News' Fauzu Masaudu examines the structural and market imbalances that continue to price many Ghanaians out of decent housing.
Despite significant increase in the country's total dwelling units from 5.82 million in 2010 to over 10 million in 2021, the Population and Housing Census reveals that nearly 1.3 million of these units remain unoccupied. This situation persists amid a housing deficit estimated at about 2 million units, highlighting deep structural and market challenges that continue to limit access to affordable housing for many Ghanaians. Confidence Mausi, a young student and worker, expresses frustration over high rent charges, which he says make it extremely difficult to save enough money to purchase a home.
First, the story has to be told. How can a young person raise about 15,000, 20,000 to pay for accommodation, which is virtually a year?
And this is even for renting.
And this is just for renting. So if you're asking me, I would say yes, you can own a home in Ghana, but it is where you want to own it. That's the problem. So the conversation would really want to start from one. How can young people even rent a room? After rent, how can they even save towards getting a family? And then to think of owning a home. So that's where the conversation really wants to start from here. In Ghana, an average young person out of university will earn around 3,000 to 4,000 for most young people. Now, if you are taking about 4,000 times 12, it's what, 48,000 a year. Now, your landlord, if you decide to stay within close to your work, somewhere close to Accra, will be taking you something close to 19,800. Now, don't forget that the agent who is looking for the house for you take 10%, and then that is 22,000 Ghana cedis.
Managing Director of Rehoboth Estate, William Sasu, attributes the relatively high cost of housing to the operational expenses within the real estate industry.
Naturally, we are private sector operators, and as a private sector operator, we are profit motivated. But when the right environment is created by the provision of the necessary incentives, tax waivers, import duty reductions, provision of land banks or maybe affordable land, and then also construction loans. If they are able to give us loans at very good rates, it should be possible for us to partner government in the provision of affordable housing for the people of this country.
However, confidence does not entirely agree. He strongly attributes the situation to the lack of robust housing policies, particularly those that encourage private sector partnership.
Looks like now the whole housing and rent structure has become more of a private commodity, and then it's a profit-making business. So the more you build houses, the more you do estate, and then the more you get money. I mean, it can be the case, but then what should be the plight of a young Ghanaian who is 23 years and you want him to wait 20,000 cedis to get a room? It's not possible. Now, then again, it's renting and then owning a home has not been considered as an economic right and a social right. We want to build houses. Go through the streets of Accra. All the signboards you see are selling houses in dollars. I'm working and taking cities. You are telling me to come and pay a room for in dollars. It's not working.
Successive governments, in efforts to address the country's growing accommodation challenges, have introduced several initiatives, including the National Rent Assistance Scheme, the revised National Affordable Housing Program, and other rent-to-own schemes. But how affordable are these houses in reality, and what truly defines affordability in the Ghanaian housing context?
Affordable housing has come up as to what constitutes affordability. And it is important to note that it's a relative term because if a person spends generally about 30% or over 30% of his income on housing, then clearly it is not affordable. But because it is relative, they vary from situation to situation and from person to person. So generally, that is the standard practice or standard definition of what constitutes affordability.
He believes that deliberate efforts by real estate developers such as Rehoboth's social housing project and stronger public-private partnerships could significantly help address the country's home ownership challenges.
We formed our sister company, Rehoboth Social Housing. The objective was to help support the construction of social housing in Ghana. So, in a way, we are also paying our dues. We are supporting the construction of affordable housing. So yes, we are profit motivated, but if you come to the social housing side, Rehoboth Social Housing is really pushing at the moment, and we are doing the best that we can. Prices over there are quite within the range of an ordinary Ghanaian, and we think that it's a good thing. And I've said it repeatedly, it's for government to identify the players in the industry who can partner or support it so that we can help turn out the house in large numbers. Once we are able to do that, then we can give opportunity for young graduates and middle income earners to be able to own properties.
Concerns over housing are even more pronounced in the public sector. A massive housing deficit, driven by disproportionate housing delivery, limited funding and financing, policy and planning failures, and delays in project execution, continues to undermine government intervention. Managing Director of the State Housing Company, John Bauer, while acknowledging the growing concerns, outlined the measures being implemented by the Mahama-led administration to address the challenge.
To bring in major contracting companies, both local and international, who have the financial muscle. You know, one of the biggest strengths State Housing has is our brand equity and consumer trust. And so once the buildings start going up, as you heard the business development manager say, this building is already sold out, and yet we're just commissioning it. So our offtake is our security.
For others, however, despite prevailing socio-economic challenges, disciplined financial planning and effective saving strategies could still make a difference.
Well, that's our wrap up to this edition of the Channel One Newsroom. I am Omar Sandamado. Thank you so much for watching us.
It's Christmas Eve. Skip the ordinary and step into the extraordinary. Welcome